everyone, welcome to MotorHome Beep Beep. Today I've come to see the final resting place of Lena Zavaroni. She was an absolute boomer of a singer and a tiny little girl. That's what made her so special. And this is where I am. I'm going to show you now, look. Hoddesdon Cemetery. So I've already seen over the bushes there. It's super posh in this bit. So we're going to head over and find her. But I've got to warn you, this story, it's got to be the saddest one I've ever researched, and I'll go and you won't believe it. It's like you could not make this up, it's so sad. So let's move in. She was a tiny little girl, massive booming voice. She won Opportunity Knocks. She was the youngest girl at only 10 years old to have a top 10 LP in the top album chart. So, you know, she started really young. And she was cute, she was pretty, petite, lovely personality, booming voice. She had got everything. That's what makes it so sad. You won't believe, well, if you don't know it, you won't believe what I'm about to tell you. You just won't. She had clinical depression, I think, and she also had anorexia nervosa. So she was constantly, she was told, you know, when she started to hit puberty and she started to blossom a bit, she was told that she was too large for some of the suits, and I think that's a bit like Karen Carpenter, wasn't it? Somebody once told her she was fat and she killed herself, starved herself to death. So it's unbelievable, really. Nice looking place. Look, I'm going to spin you around. There's a guy approaching with a blowing machine. He's trying to blow my microphone. When she was at stage school, she got down to 50 pounds it was, which is 4 stone. It's a ridiculously low weight. You know, she was starving herself to death, and I think she had that all her life, basically. Some of these graves are amazing. They're absolutely, I don't know, I've never seen such posh ones. Never. Look, I'll show you. Look, can you see? They're just enormous, aren't they? This must be the rich part, it really must. And 1989 was quite an eventful year because a mother, Hilda, committed suicide with a drug overdose, and that wasn't the end of it. The house burnt down. Poor old Lena lost all the memorabilia from her show business work. You know, the only good thing that happened that year, she married this chap who was called Peter Wilshire. He was a computer guy, and he looked a nice guy on the interview, but unfortunately it only lasted 18 months. So, you know, the good luck and the pleasant life didn't last, did it, at all? Unbelievably sad to you. Got all that talent, pretty girl, nice personality, career, and everything's going wrong. You can't beggar it, can you? You just can't. Anyway, she got to the point where she said, I need help. I will commit suicide if you don't help me. So they offered her a groundbreaking treatment called electroconvulsive therapy. It took some saying that, didn't it? Electroconvulsive therapy. And she went into the hospital for this treatment. And while she was there, when she'd had the operation, they said she came round. She was looking optimistic. She was talking about going back to work. But the problem was that because she was so thin, she caught pneumonia, and it finished her off. 35 years old, and she's died. What a sad life. She'd missed years of work, years of enjoyment, everything you can think of in life had gone. All because of her mental state. I did see her once. I saw her in Bradford, I think it was the early 70s, and I was struck by how small she was. I mean, I'm 6'1", so I suppose that amplified it a bit, but yeah, she was tiny little thing, really. You know, I think she was only a teenager at that point. She was really small. Zavaroni was born Greenock, Reflunshire, and grew up in a small town of Roversey on the Isle of Bute. Her parents owned a fish and chip shop. Her father, born in 1939, played the guitar, and her mother, Hilda, born in 1940, died 1989, sang. Zavaroni began singing at the age of 2. Her father, Alfredo, an immigrant from Italy. Zavaroni was discovered in the summer of 1973 by record producer Tommy Scott, who was on holiday in Roversey and heard her singing in the band with her father and uncle. Scott contacted impresario Phil Solomon, which led to his partner Dorothy Solomon becoming Zavaroni's manager. In 1974, Zavaroni appeared on Opportunity Knocks, hosted by Hughie Green, and won the show for a record-breaking 5 weeks running. She followed this with her album Ma Is Making Eyes at Me, a collection of classic and recent pop standards. Zavaroni sang in a Hollywood charity show with Frank Sinatra and Lucille Ball in 1974, at which Ball commented, "You're special, very special, and very good," although some sources attribute the words to Sinatra. Following this, Zavaroni guest starred on The Carl Burnett Show. She also appeared in The Morecambe and Wise Show, the May 29, 1975 episode of Wheel Tappers and Shunters Social Club, in the 1976 Royal Variety Show, and performed at the White House for US President Gerald Ford. Signed to soul-orientated Stax Records label in the United States, Zavaroni was not especially successful, despite the praise and television appearances. Her Ma album did not enter the charts, and its title single only reached 91st position in the Billboard Hot 100 during a 4-week chart run in the summer of 1974. While attending London's Italia Conti Academic Stage School, Zavaroni met and became long-term friends with another young starlet called Bonnie Langford. They starred in an ITV special, Lena and Bonnie, in September 1978. The BBC broadcast Lena Zavaroni on Broadway. In 1979, Zavaroni had her own TV series on the BBC called Lena Zavaroni and Music, and from 1980 to 1982 she had a TV series called Lena. After the breakup of her marriage, Zavaroni moved to Oddiston, Hertfordshire, to be near her father and his second wife. By this time she was living on state benefit, and in 1999 was accused of stealing a 50p packet of jelly, although the charges were later dropped. In September 1999, Zavaroni was admitted to the University Hospital of Wales in Cardiff for a psychological operation. It took place on the 7th of September and was described as pioneering. However, 3 weeks after the operation, she contracted pneumonia, which saw her weight drop to less than 5 stones, that's just 70 pounds, and died from bronchial pneumonia on the 1st of October. Although some reports said the surgery was a lobotomy, also known as a leukeotomy, the hospital said it was not, and the treatment was intended for depression rather than anorexia, as was rumoured at the time. When she died, she only weighed 70 pounds, so she was really ridiculously small, you know. Anyway, I've seen it, I knew it, I've seen the pictures. You can't miss them, they're so unique, these graves. Look, I'm going to spin it around. They're absolutely, the stone on it's unique. Everything's different about this one, including the story, you know. Hello, Lena. Okay, let's have a look. It's a pretty little thing, like the lady herself. So it says Lena Zavaroni, 4th of the 11th, 63 to the 1st of the 10th, 1999. And there we've got a picture of her. Isn't she cute? There, look. Love the girl. Love the smile. And it says by the stone, oh, we've got some flowers, look. Dear Lena, you are remembered with much love by your fans. Heart, kiss, kiss, kiss. That's lovely. Put that back in there where it should be. Right, let's read the stone here. Make sure you can see it okay. Yeah, there we are. Right, it says, Dear daughter and sister, close your eyes, my little nightingale, for you will sing no more. You left your gentle mark on fame upon the earthly shore. We love you for your humbleness and unassuming pose. You shone just like the brightest stars outshone the fairest rose. Good night, God bless, Lena, R.I.P. You were a beautiful little soul and a beautiful looking girl. I'm very sorry about what happened to you. It's terrible. It's a nice spot where she is, that's all I can say. And the fans still, 23 years later, are still bringing her flowers, so she was a talent, for sure. There we go. Sends a shiver down your spine, this one, it really does. Okay, Lena. I hope you're in a better place now. Wow, that's super sad, that one, isn't it? Sent shivers down my spine, I swear. I think this is the hardest one I had to watch and research before doing it. It just made you feel sad last night when I was watching the things on YouTube. You know, I when I was younger, I read some sort of self-help psychology because I always think your mind is the most important thing you've got because it's you, isn't it? And I read this book by a guy called Walter Staples, actually, and he said if you put down a line on a piece of paper and put the bad things that you do on the left and the good things on the right, or whichever, you'll always find a list of the good things far outweighs the things in the bad column. So don't berate yourself when you do something wrong or stupid, because in the day you've done a lot of good. And the other thing is, if you wrote down every little problem that you think is going to happen in the future that you're worried about, popped it into a drawer for a month or a year or whatever, open the drawer, read the papers, and you'll find virtually nothing of what you were worried about actually happens. It's because we think of the worst scenario, don't we? So there was lots of it in that book like that, lots of advice, and and people sometimes they see the fault that you've done and they try and tell you off, but you've got to cling on to the fact that you're a good person and that you've done a lot of good in that day and in your life and done the best you can do. And that's what everybody does try to do usually, unless they're evil. So yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to sound corny with this, I really believe it. So don't let anyone put you down. Do your best, and that's all you can do. Don't forget to subscribe and ding the bell so you don't miss future videos. Give me a thumbs up and a comment, because I do like the comments. I like to read them and get to know everybody. I'm from a very pretty cemetery with a pretty sad story there, really. I'm going to say I'm going to have a good day. I'm not going to let it get me down. Okay, I'll see you all soon. Take care from me, Alan, at MotorHome Beep Beep. See ya. Bye bye.